How's it going, Yankee fans? Welcome back to Fireside Yankees with your boys Alex and Ryan. So yesterday, if you watched the game, yes, Yankees beat the Orioles, but Aaron Judge gets hit in the hand with it was a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, and I think we all collectively closed our eyes and prayed for a second. If you're religious, if you're not religious, we all believed in a God at that moment, and that was kind of a scary situation. You know, Judge going down We've seen it happen before, and we all know what this team looks like without him. We can't afford to be losing a player of that magnitude right now. We can't afford to lose him or Soto. So kind of thinking about, the kind of luck the Yankees got dodging a big bullet with that. After the game, Judge comes out and says his x-rays and CT scans all looked clean, no fractures, nothing. He actually wants to play today. I think the Yankees will probably keep him out for a day, let him rest, let that hands kind of heal. You don't, sometimes if you're dealing with pain in some areas, you may try to overcompensate and it leads to injuries in other places. So I feel as though the Yankees probably just give Judge the day off, make sure he's healthy. One game isn't going to mean anything when all is said and done, most likely. So I feel really, really fortunate that we kind of dodged that bullet, Ryan. What was your initial reaction and obviously thoughts about if he should play today? If he feels good, I guess why not? But also, don't want to risk it right now with your best player.
Yeah, I think that the best way to look at this is that you dodged a bullet, right? Like, you dodged a bullet. It could have been, you think of 2018. That's exactly what I think of, right? I think of the wrist fracture. I think of that play, Jacob Junis, right? It was kind of a similar vibe. Judge stayed in the game in that game as well. He actually got an at bat, he didn't. It didn't go well that time. This time, Yankees, again, the Yankees were able to dodge a bullet, and that's huge. Now, looking at this from the standpoint of moving forward, I've seen a lot of people suggest retaliation. I'm going to say this right now. The best retaliation is winning the series. That's the best retaliation. You take 2 or 3, dare I say it, you sweep. And trust me, that's the retaliation you want. And for those saying, I know there are a lot of Baltimore fans suggesting that, judges shouldn't be upset. He got hit in the hand with 95. The sorry fix, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to hit you with 95. That doesn't make the 95 not hurt. It doesn't make the swelling go down. You have a right to be upset about these kinds of things. But getting back to baseball here, the big storyline today now that Aaron Judge is fine, and I just spilled his name here, Garrett Cole, right? He's making his first start of the 2024 season. The Yankees finished kind of this stretch where they did not have Garrett Cole with the best ERA from any rotation, the third most innings pitched, and the third most strikeouts. So, round of applause for those guys. The rotation held itself together. Not even held itself together. The rotation excelled. It dominated. It became a strength of this team in Garrett Cole's absence. The best team in baseball, record-wise, gets the best pitcher in baseball back. It doesn't get much more exciting than that. And, obviously the exciting debut of Ben Rice yesterday, Augustin Ramirez kind of trailing him coming up to AAA. It's Spencer Jones is actually starting to hit, so it's a pretty exciting time right now for the Yankees because you're starting to see this marriage of, homegrown developed players and star talent. I saw this post, and I think it was from a good buddy Rick on Twitter. 5 homegrown players in the Yankees lineup yesterday. 5. One guy acquired in free agency, so it didn't require prospects to acquire them, and he didn't develop them. That's pretty crazy, right? That's something it's a new era. It feels different. This is a different kind of vibe around this team. Alex's team's playing well. They're hitting well. They're pitching well. And shout out Nestor Cortez for a great outing yesterday. They're just firing on all cylinders. Hopefully, Garrett Cole can galvanize them and give them another win today against a team they've struggled to beat for the last 2 years.
Yeah, just to rewind for 1 second, talking about, you were saying Aaron Judge is kind of pissed off. Well, the Orioles fans are saying those 2 pitchers hadn't hit anyone this season. I guess Suarez had only hit 2 people this year. Isn't it kind of weird that, the first pitch that the first time that their bullpen arm hit somebody, it's in the hands of Gleyber Torres? I don't think it was on purpose, obviously, but the argument, they haven't hit any pitchers this year is also kind of why that's kind of crazy. Judge being pissed off probably is a culmination of that was an accident, but then a couple innings later, Gleyber Torres gets a high and inside fastball in his hands too. So I feel as though, definitely not what you want to be. I don't think the Orioles did it on purpose, and it was just a coincidence, but I get why you're pissed. You're compromising a team's ability to stay healthy in those moments. And, Judge said he had flashbacks of when he got hit in the hand a couple years ago and fractured his wrist. So you never know what's going to happen when you take a 95-mile-an-hour fastball to the hands, and it could end your season. You know what I mean? It could disrupt your entire season. So your kind of whole year flashes before your eyes in those moments. So I get why he was upset. I think anyone normally would be upset. I don't think the Yankees are going to respond. But I think winning the series is the best way to shut them down. So we'll see what happens with Judge today. As you reference, Cole coming back back is really exciting. So, what do we expect from Cole today going up against Pavich of the Orioles? Obviously, Baltimore has a very, very good offense. Now, Cole coming back had, 19 strikeouts in 12 innings at the minors. He had 10 Ks in 4.1 innings in his last minor league assignment with AAA. He gave up 1 earned run, which is a solo shot, which is not unusual for Cole. He'll go 7 innings, give up 1 run, and it's a solo homer. So, that's kind of, not unusual. Velocity looks good. Pitch movement looks good, as you referenced. What do you expect from him today? What does a good performance look to you from Garrett Cole today? For me, I'm thinking, if he could get 6 innings, give up a couple hits, not much damage, not much hard hits, I think I'd be pretty happy with that. I think I'd be very happy with that. 6 innings of good ball, I'm ecstatic. I think they'll only really let him go 75, 80 pitches. So we'll see kind of how his velocity looks. But, for me, 6 innings, I think I'd walk away very happy from this performance.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the way I look at it for Garrett Cole is he's going to be on a pitch count. I know that fans are going to say just let him go as long as he wants. No, he's going to go as long as the set pitch count will be. He's not built up to 100 pitches yet. So, you got to be careful. But 5, 6 innings, I agree. That's just give me 5 to 6 strong, solid innings. I don't expect him to look like the Garrett Cole we saw last year in his first start. If he does, I mean, that'd be great, but I fundamentally understand that it's a tough opponent offensively. His command has to be sharp. Those guys will kill him in the zone. So, I understand that the Orioles are a tough lineup. I understand that Garrett Cole's command may not be the sharpest. So I'm tempering my expectations for this one start, but I think he'll have a strong season. And then Alex, just overall with the pitching staff, the one concern at this point is your bullpen. Now, getting starters back improves your bullpen and gives you a little more bullpen flexibility because when starters come back, if Clark Schmidt comes back, which I think he will, I know he's moved to 60-day, but that seems like more of a formality. It felt like something was going to happen eventually if he was shut down for, 4 weeks, no throwing, right? That's 4 weeks of ramping up. 8 times 7, that's 56 days. Why have a guy come back on the 56th day? Just have him come back on the 61st day or the 62nd day. They're pitchers anyway. You should be fragile with them. You can move Schmidt to the bullpen. You could have, maybe Stroman go to the bullpen. Maybe I don't think Rodon's going to the bullpen. I think he's pitched a little too well. Cortez has kind of come back into the conversation of this is back-to-back really strong starts. Should have been back-to-back wins, but unfortunately the blown save in Kansas City. I was really impressed with how he threw the ball yesterday. He's been mixing in the changeup and slider more. Alex, I feel like this entire staff has just gotten better as the season gone on. It feels like they're a little more reliable. I know that the Fenway series was a disaster, but just felt like they were tired. It was a road trip. And again, I don't want to understate how big of a game today is. I know you and I talk about the big picture, long game, right? It doesn't matter what you do in the regular season as long as it gets to the postseason. You're a competent roster because in the postseason, that's really when it all matters. But you want to be able to beat Baltimore. You have to be able to beat Baltimore. You just do. And another big storyline here is if you don't win the division, you get sent into a 3-game wild card. And look, I know that 2 wild card teams went to the World Series and won the World Series, and I know that the Phillies went to the World Series in the 3 wild card format. But you know who won the World Series that year? The Houston Astros, because they were better than everybody else. Sometimes the best team, the team that's just unbelievable, just wins, right? I know that the playoffs are a roll of the dice. I understand that. But I also believe that you want to avoid allowing variance into your life. And you allow variance into your life when you play a 3-game series where, we just saw us drop a 3-game series to Boston. We're like, how the hell did we lose this team? We split with Oakland. We split with Oakland in the same season where, we've just absolutely bodied the Guardians. We score 25 runs against the Brewers in 2 games, right? I don't want to invite that variance to this team. Let's go win this game tonight and hopefully tomorrow as well. And let's win the division. I want to win the division.
Absolutely, and we have the talent to do so. I think Cashman's going to be really active at the deadline. We got Lou Trevino and Scott Efros working on the way back. I think Efros is starting a rehab assignment soon, and then we'll get Clark Schmidt back apparently, hopefully before the All-Star break, if not after. So we'll get him back, and this team does need another infielder. And just to touch on one last little thing here, how about Ben Rice yesterday? Ben Rice with a nice little single. The guy was smiling ear to ear, running around that first base. So love to see that. Ben Rice, obviously a couple that early on he had that little bit of a. I guess it was, I wouldn't call it an error, but Gleyber Torres was so far back. I get why Ben Rice felt as though he had to go get that ball. I guess that's kind of a learning experience. Gleyber Torres has the, athleticism to go and actually get that one. So, we'll see kind of how they go about the defensive nature moving forward. But I do think that Ben Rice, his bat is legit. He made some good contact. He's aggressive. I think his youth is going to be a nice spark to this team. So, what did you see from Ben Rice? Things you liked, things you didn't like? Overall, I thought it was a pretty positive performance from him, and I think I'm excited to see him keep mashing.
I mean, yeah, I just think the guy, I think he has a good bat. I've been adamant that he can hit. We'll see how he holds up because there's a lot of lefties. I don't know if Boone's going to play him I don't think Boone's going to play him in the 4 of the next 5 games where they have lefty. I don't think he's going to play him every single game, but he might get a start in one of those games. And if he does, right, like, let's see how he can handle left-handed pitching. I know he's done a good job in the minor leagues, but yeah, and as you mentioned, like, just the vibes. Like, the dude was just, I mean, ear to ear. I mean, full-on teeth grin smile, right? He was just cheesing. Like, he was extremely happy. And then, of course, talking about just the infusion of young talent, like, can Ben Rice be something for them? He's going to have to learn the ropes at first, like you mentioned, that play there. Like, that was one of those, like, all right, this is an inexperienced first baseman. Got to work through it. I actually thought he made a couple of, nice he received a couple of balls well. When especially the one, like, I think there was this play where Volpe basically, like, it's a double play ball. Volpe almost sails the ball over Rice's head, and he moves well, so he's able to jump up and get it. Not saying that a first baseman shouldn't be expected to stop the ball, but he is a good athlete, and I think that a good athlete can be expected to make some plays. That I'm not saying Rizzo isn't a good athlete, but I am suggesting that there's more mobility in Rice, and perhaps the Yankees are able to mold that into a competent first baseman. And then kind of talk about the offense as a whole, right? Like, I have just been blown away with how, like, I know in Fenway it wasn't great, but just the way that they can consistently force a starting pitcher to knock them out early, essentially. Like, they got Suarez out of the game early, and I know Suarez, people are like, oh, some nobody hit Judge. Like, the guy was having a really good year. Like, if he was on the Yankees, we'd be talking about him like, holy crap, what the hell is going on here? He's a sensation in Baltimore, so they were able to work counts. They made him look uncharacteristically wild. They made him look like a nobody, right? Like, that's why Yankee fans thought he was a nobody, because he pitched like one. No disrespect to him, he's a good pitcher, but yeah, like, the offense keeps working counts. Again, Cortez pound the zone, no walks, that's huge. You can't give traffic to the Orioles. They are a home run threat. We saw that yesterday, right? Like, Holmes comes in and 2 runs are on the board, right? Like, it's instant. It's like that. Like, they'll score runs in a hurry. We'll see how the Yankees hold up against Povich today. He's a young pitcher. Wear his ass out, right? Wear his ass out. Like, pitch count, get that shit up. Bullpen, I want the bullpen in the game by the 5th or 6th. I want the bullpen in the game by the 5th or 6th. Wear his ass out. Cole, you're gonna need your bullpen to do something for you today. You don't have Weaver probably, which kind of sucks. Maybe you don't have Tonkin. Tonkin's kind of a rubber arm. If you notice, like, that dude, they just throw him and he's just like got the mustache. He looks like a plumber. Like, I don't mean that disrespectfully. He just looks like the type of guy that, like, would walk into my house and be like, hey man, what's going on with the AC unit? Like, I love Michael Tonkin. I mean, I love the guy, man.
He's been excellent for the Yankees so far, so we love to see that. But no, I mean, look, this team, they have a lot of good pieces. Obviously, I think that we need a couple more at the deadline, but I'm not really worried about that, to be honest. We have so much time, and guys getting healthy, so we'll see how things progress. But Ben Rice looked really good yesterday. I do love the athleticism that he does offer. I think that these reps for him are essential long term. The Yankees need to be giving him this experience. I'm happy they promoted him because he may be the long-term first baseman, and getting him some opportunities to play first base at the MLB level, get comfortable, shake off those kind of rookie jitters in a way, is essential. So we'll see how things progress. He should get a lot of at bats, and if he's looking good, man, the Yankees kind of if his bat starts to pick up and his comfort starts to settle in, he's hitting well. The Yankees, that erases a big need they might have at the deadline in a couple weeks. So I think this is really, really good timing for them. I think they did the right thing by promoting Ben Rice, and I'm excited to continue watching him. But guys, as always, happy to see and hear your thoughts below in the comment section on YouTube. Make sure to like and subscribe as always, and we'll catch you guys on the next Fireside Yankees episode.
Perfect.